My name is Innocent Chukwuma, Chairman and CEO, Innoson Group. A businessman, I started buying and sell a motorcycle component, after motor component, after complete motorcycle, now manufacturer of complete motor. Plantain all Nigeria, both individual and government, to support local men. It will help us because of our youth. Everything is not for profit. And doing so many things now just to make sure that our youth are succeed, not for profit. Tractor plant I'm doing in UNN in Suka. After that, I will do another one in North. I will do another one in West. I want to get it in 3 quarters. I want to prove to people that Nigeria can do it here. We can do it here better. Like my motto in the airport. Don't you see all my CNG buses everywhere? Nobody will tell you that our vehicle is not strong. It's the strongest motor in Africa. Thank God our government believes in local capacity. Today, Innoson Vehicle Manufacturing is one of the biggest employer of labor in Africa. Thousands of families are eating today because of this gate opens every day. 2026, I'm employing almost 2,000 workers because of the new factory where we produce CNG trucks and electric motor. The factory will soon start work.
What if I told you that Africa is no longer waiting for the future to arrive? What if the continent that has long been seen as a consumer of foreign technology is now building its own cars, developing its own electric vehicles, and positioning itself to lead a new industrial revolution? In 2026, Nigeria's electric vehicle transition and green mobility bill is officially revolutionizing the automotive landscape. Nigeria's foremost indigenous automobile giant, Innoson Vehicle Manufacturing, has shattered expectations by rolling out its first 100% locally assembled electric vehicles directly from its multi-billion naira expansion plant in Inewi, Anambra State. This is done by enforcing a strict 30% local content requirement by 2030 and requiring foreign OEMs, original equipment manufacturers, to form mandatory local partnerships. This landmark legislation officially outlaws unsanctioned importation. In this episode of Strength of Africa TV, we break down exactly how Chief Innocent Chukwuma is using this new law to build a fortress around Africa's ecosystem, solve the EV battery degradation crisis, and deploy off-grid solar-powered charging hubs nationwide. Welcome back to Strength of Africa TV, where we celebrate continental innovation, industrial power, and the unstoppable mindset of African builders. Family, the global green transition has comprehensively arrived in Africa, but with a dangerous asymmetry. For decades, the global north has looked at our continent as merely a quarry, a place to extract Congolese cobalt, Zambia copper, and Zimbabwean lithium, only to ship those raw materials overseas, build advanced Teslas and BYDs, and sell them back to us at exorbitant prices. But the narrative has radically flipped. Africa has stepped into the driver's seat. Instead of becoming a dumping ground for foreign technology, Africa is utilizing its legislative might and engineering ingenuity to spark a homegrown tech revolution. And riding out at the absolute front of this eco-friendly cavalry is Innoson Vehicle Manufacturing, the pride of African roads. Today, we dissect a masterclass in industrial strategy. We are going to reveal how Innoson went from disrupting motorcycles to forcing unprecedented protectionist laws that compelled global cars giants to bow to local content laws. We will look deep into the shrewd battery coalition designed to survive tropical heat and explore how the private sector is bypassing an unreliable power grid with massive solar energy charging network hubs. Grab your notepads. This is how you truly claim industrial sovereignty. Welcome to Strength of Africa TV. If you have ever searched for questions such as, can Africa manufacture its own cars? Does Nigeria produce vehicles? What is Africa's answers to Tesla? Or can electric vehicles succeed in Africa? Then this episode provides the answers, because the future of African industrialization may already be happening in Inewi, Nigeria.
Strength of Africa TV presents The Silent Revolution. How Innoson is electrifying Africa's roads and rewriting the car industry.
From the heart of Enivi to the shores of the Cape, a new generation is shaping its space. With the strength of our minerals, the power of our minds, we are bending the future we were destined to find. No, we're not just consumers of what others create. We are forging our own path, we are owning our place. To the fire of determination and the spirit of our youth, Africa is rising to her purpose, her promise and her truth. Africa, rise and rise. Let the world see we're alive. From our thanks to the silver sky, this is our moment, this is our time. Africa, oh, stand up tall. We are answering the call. Oh, now this we now on hands. The future of Africa is finding rebound.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Depending on where you are at this moment, I'm your host, Adebayo Oladokun, and this is Strength of Africa TV, where truth meets courage, where the past is reawakened, and the future of the motherland is reclaimed. Today's episode is titled The Silent Revolution, How Innoson is Electrifying Africa's Road and Rewriting the Car Industry. Let's begin with the man who dared to build Africa's own automobile brand. Every great industrial revolution begins with a visionary. For Nigeria, that visionary is Chief Innocent Chukwuma. Long before he entered the automobile industry, Chukwuma was already a successful businessman in the motorcycle parts trade. But he noticed something important. Africa was spending billions of dollars importing products that could potentially be manufactured locally. Instead of continuing to import fully assembled motorcycles, he began importing components and manufacturing parts locally. The results were extraordinary. The cost of motorcycles dropped, making them affordable to millions of Nigerians. What many saw as impossible, he transformed into a thriving business model. But his ambitions were far greater. He wanted to build cars. At the time, many people laughed at the idea. After all, Africa has spent decades importing vehicles from Europe, Asia, and North America. The idea of a Nigerian company competing in the global automotive industry appeared far-fetched. Yet, in 2007, Innoson Vehicle Manufacturing was born. By 2014, the company had officially introduced its own branded vehicles to the market. It was a historic moment. For the first time, Nigeria had a truly indigenous automobile manufacturer capable of producing vehicles for the local market. It was more than a business success. It was a symbol of African possibility, a declaration that Africa could build, create, and innovate. Let's have a look inside Africa's growing automotive powerhouse. One of the biggest misconceptions about Innoson is that it simply rebrands foreign vehicles. The reality is far more impressive. At its manufacturing facilities in Inewi and Enugu, Innoson produces a significant portion of its vehicle components locally. Chassis, body panels, dashboards, bumper systems, interior components, bus frames, all manufactured within Nigeria. This level of local content is extraordinary for a young automotive industry. Even many established automakers around the world depend on global supply chains for critical components. What makes Innoson unique is its commitment to building local industrial capacity. The company's vehicles are also specifically engineered for African conditions. Unlike many imported cars designed for smooth highways, Innoson vehicles feature reinforced suspensions, stronger chassis systems, and cooling mechanisms suited to the extreme heat of West Africa. The result is a product built by Africans for African roads. Today, the company produces a wide range of vehicles. Innoson Vehicle Manufacturing has officially entered the green energy sector with a targeted lineup of electric vehicles optimized for urban commuting, corporate fleets, and ride-hailing drivers. These vehicles are designed to bypass fuel independency issues while featuring modern digital consoles, reinforced suspensions, and extended range battery architectures tailored for African traffic conditions. The current electric models manufactured by IVM include IVM EX02, IVM EX01, IVM Link. The conventional fleet running on internal combustion engines remains the industrial backbone of the company. Engineered with reinforced heavy-duty chassis skeletons and expanded cooling jackets built to endure rugged West African terrain and tropical heat. This fleet spans rugged tactical off-roaders, modern family crossovers, utility sedans, and mass transit commuter buses heavily patronized by Nigerian security forces and state logistic boards. The primary conventional models manufactured by IVM include IVM G80, IVM G40, IVM G50, and IVM G60, IVM Ikenga, IVM Carries and IVM Connect, IVM G20 Smart and IVM Kappa, IVM Granite and IVM Carrier 4-wheel drive, IVM Minibus, IVM Suriki, and IVM 5380 line. This diversification has allowed Innoson to expand its market presence across multiple industries. From government agencies to private businesses, demand continues to grow and grow. The Nigerian Police, the Nigerian Army, state governments, transport authorities, educational institutions, all have become major customers, and the company's reputation is spreading beyond Nigeria into other West African countries. Let's look at how Africa enters the electric vehicle race. For years, many experts argued that electric vehicles were unrealistic for Africa. They pointed to the unreliable electricity supplies, limited charging infrastructure, high battery cost, and weak industrial capacity. But Innoson saw opportunity where others saw obstacles. Let's peek under the hood. When the announcement broke that Innoson successfully completed road testing on its first purely indigenous electric vehicles, impressions exploded nationwide. Unlike Western brands designing high-end recreational vehicles for discretionary revenues, Innoson applies a strategic workhorse mentality. This was more than a product launch, it was a strategic statement. Africa intends to participate in the global green revolution. Innoson's approach to electric mobility is highly practical. Rather than targeting ultra-wealthy consumers, the company is focusing on urban transportation, commercial fleets, government agencies, and mass transit operators. This strategy could create immediate demand while reducing national fuel consumption. The timing is also critical. The removal of fuel subsidies in Nigeria has dramatically increased transportation costs. As petrol prices rise, electric mobility becomes increasingly attractive. Innoson's leadership understands that the future of transportation will not be defined by who has the most imports. It will be defined by who can create sustainable local solutions. And here is where local original equipment manufacturing proves its incredible value. If you import a standard electric car originating from Europe or Asia, the traditional suspension system and axle compliance will rapidly disintegrate on rugged regional terrain. Innoson's EV design continues its famous 70% local integration strategy. The high-grade steel chassis, protective body panel skeletons, interior integration dashboards, and reinforced extra clearance suspensions are stamped and constructed directly in Anambra State. They are literally forged to survive rugged driving pathways while incorporating top-tier imported electric drivetrains from leading international partners. Now, a look at the Green Mobility Bill and Africa's industrial future. Perhaps The most significant development is the emergence of government policies designed to support local manufacturing. Nigeria's Electric Vehicle Transition and Green Mobility Bill represents a major shift in industrial strategy. For decades, African markets were open to foreign products with limited protection for local industries. This bill attempts to change that dynamic. Foreign automakers seeking to participate in Nigeria's EV market will be required to establish local partnerships and manufacturing capacity, which is pegged at 5,000 units annually. Local content requirements will encourage the development of domestic supply chains. New charging infrastructure will support the growth of electric mobility. These policies could transform Nigeria into one of Africa's leading automotive manufacturing hubs. For Innoson, this legislation provides a massive advantage. The company already possesses factories, experienced workers, established supply networks, and years of manufacturing experience. While new entrants scramble to build infrastructure, Innoson is already positioned to scale. Now, how does this utterly solidify Innoson's dominance? While foreign OEMs, original equipment manufacturers, and small locally based textiles scramble to design factories that can accommodate a 5,000 unit requirement, Innoson clearance is instantaneous. IVM already operates on an intensive industrial footprint capable of heavy production metrics. By outlawing completed imports, the Nigerian government has created a shield around Chief Innocent Chukwuma's operation. Global brands cannot simply underprice Innoson using foreign subsidies. If they want in, they must bring in their capital, their technology, and their intellectual property straight to Inewe and enviable local manufacturing ecosystem. Now, every skeptic watching this always asks the same thing. How do you deploy an electric fleet in a nation fighting for stable, constant power? The traditional strategy decentralizes upon Nigeria's power grid limitations. But the African industry envisioned an inventive leapfrog maneuver. African private capital and pioneering infrastructure enterprises like Max, Spiro, and Possible Electric Mobility are completely bypassing traditional networks. Expansive cargo recharging terminals are emerging in major urban centers capable of juicing up over 1,000 electric automobiles daily. The entire infrastructure operates independently via off-grid solar-powered harvesting capabilities and industrial fluid battery banks. These mega hubs capture immense clean sunlight during peak daytime hours, compressing and saving energy inside specialized storage systems. EV drivers glide into the port, connect to fast charger, and power their commute seamlessly, entirely isolated from grid instability. Under the new Green Mobility Bill framework, traditional fuel stations across national transit lines are legally expanding into clean energy infrastructure, setting up a unified web of coverage. But the bigger story is not about one company. It's about Africa's industrial future. It's about whether African countries can move from exporting raw materials to manufacturing high-value products. It's about whether Africa can capture more of the wealth created from its own resources. And it's about whether Africa can build the industries that will employ its rapidly growing youth population. The answer may determine the continent's economic destiny for generations. Now, to every African at home and across the diaspora, this is a defining moment in our economic history. For generations, we have celebrated the success of industries built in other continents while questioning the potential of our own. But no industry can grow without the support of its people. Every vehicle purchased from an African manufacturer is more than a transaction. It's an investment in African engineers, African factories, African jobs, African research, and African industrial independence. Whether you live in Lagos, Nairobi, Johannesburg, Accra, Tunis, London, Toronto, Atlanta, or Sydney, your choices matter. If we want Africa to move from exporting raw materials to exporting finished products, then we must be willing to support the brands that are taking the risk to build them. Let us not wait for the world to validate African excellence before we do. Let us become the first customers, the first ambassadors, and the first believers in our own industrial revolution. And to the critics, the doubters, and the professional pessimists who insist that Africa cannot manufacture, cannot innovate, or cannot compete, history has never been kind to those who bet against human determination. Every great industrial nation on earth began with imperfect products, limited infrastructure, and skeptics who said it could not be done. The first automobiles, the first airplanes, and the first computers were all ridiculed before they transformed the world. So the question is not whether Africa's automotive revolution will face challenges. Of course it will. The real question is whether we will allow those challenges to stop us. The answer is no. Progress is never built by those who sit on the sidelines criticizing. It is built by those who dare to dream, dare to build, and dare to persist. Africa's industrial awakening is already underway, and no amount of negativity can stop a continent that has decided to believe in its own potential. The story of Innoson Vehicle Manufacturing is not merely about automobiles, it's about self-belief. It's a story of industrial courage, a story of Africans refusing to accept the limitations others have placed upon them. From manufacturing motorcycle components to building vehicles, from challenging foreign dominance to entering the electric age, from serving local communities to shaping regional markets, Innoson represents something much larger than a company. It represents the possibility of an Africa that produces, an Africa that innovates, an Africa that competes, an Africa that leads. The road ahead will not be easy. Challenges remain. Infrastructure gaps remain. Competition will intensify. But one thing is clear now. The future of African industrialization will not be written exclusively in foreign capitals. It will also be written in cities like Inewi, in factories built by Africans, by engineers trained in Africa, and by visionaries who refuse to believe that great things can only come from elsewhere. Family, what you are witnessing in real time at the Innoson plants in Inewi is an absolute blueprint for economic sovereignty. Industrial power is never accidentally gifted to a nation. It must be legislatively carved out, scientifically constructed, and proudly patronized by its own citizens. By building cars designed for local landscapes, securing laws that ban foreign importers from dumping completed cars, and deploying renewable solar hubs that insulate transport from internal grid hurdles, Innoson is proving that Africa is no longer a spectator in the green industrial revolution. We are architecting the future proudly, sector by sector. Thank you for tuning into this conversation on Strength of Africa TV. If you are inspired by this homegrown shift, smash that subscribe button, hit the like chip, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Will you drive the new electric vehicles designed in Inewi? Stand tall, embrace our industrial capacity, and until the next exclusive documentary, keep building indigenous revenue power. I'm your host, Adebayo Oladokun, and this is Strength of Africa TV. If you found value in this conversation, subscribe to our YouTube channel, endeavor to join our membership and give super thanks. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Rumble. For advert placement, visit us online at strengthofafricatv.com. You can also reach us through WhatsApp on +1 470 318 7378 or email us at sofatvchannel25@gmail.com. Watch out for the next episode. You don't want to miss it. Until then, tell your own story, because Africa's future is written in African ink. Stay rooted, stay bold, stay African. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next episode. Bye.
From the heart of Benue to the shores of the Cape, a new generation is shaping its space. With the strength of our minerals, the power of our minds, we are bending the future we were destined to find. No, we're not just consumers of what others create. We are forging our own path, we are owning our place. To the fire of determination and the spirit of our youth, Africa is rising to her purpose. her promise and her truth.